we don't want uh the what are they, the texts that are um how shall I say?
We don't want spam,
There
you
you go.
know.
We don't want the
But
spam.
there's so many regulations. You really can't spam people with this thing, and it's people that have opted in, and it's such an intimate relationship because it's like I think the numbers are like what 90%. Somebody gonna take their voice to look at it, and then the open ratio from a text message compared to an email or compared to a social media post. So we really can't rely on social media posts now because people might not see it for an average of 3 days later. Where mine is, I need people to it's on Friday. They got a limited amount of time to go and catch the sale, right? Starting and just stay patient with it. Luckily, because of the pandemic, we realized that we have to have these intimate relationships. Let's say you run out of toilet paper. Okay, what do we run out of in the pandemic? Toilet paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had to depend on somebody telling you, "Hey, there's TP over here, or there's TP over there, or that store being able to get to you and say, we got TP." And the way they were able to do that, you got to have this. So you like, let me go ahead and sign up for all their alerts, right?
Right.
And you weren't spam. They didn't text you all day long. They text you, and this is the thing. We can be so finite. Like, I'm gonna sign up for your alert, but I only want to know about TP, or I only want to know about blue paint, red paint. I love red paint, right? Don't tell me everything. Now today, you can drill down on this stuff. It's not like it's not our mother's spam. You know what I'm saying? You're not
Right.
getting the robocalls all day. These people want to know specifically. They opt in. I want that text on Friday. I want to see what soap is on the Friday bill, and that's all that I text them, right? Because I have to deliver on that promise, knowing what they have opted into. So and the system doesn't even allow you. The system doesn't allow you to abuse anybody.
Right.
That's another thing. So we got to respect what's out there.
Thank you so much for your input. And I'm going to rehash this day in tech history because my mic was not on. And when you're flying solo, if you don't notice that, it's interesting. Hey, TJ, how are you doing? And now we can't hear you.
How about now?
Yes.
Let me do that again. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday.
Hey, we got Lakeisha and Glow in the clubhouse as well as Dryer Buzz.
Oh, good.
So yeah, so we were talking about one of the stories in tech history where photocopying was invented October 22nd, 1938. Chester Carlson and his assistant Otto Kornite, they invented the process that would lead to the photocopier. So Carlson wrote on there 10/22/38 Astoria on a piece of paper, and those were historics because they were historic because it was the first photocopied document. But the guy, his assistant Kornai, had so little faith in the invention that he quit working for him and willingly gave up any claims he had on the process.
Okay.
But Carlson, said Carlson later gifted him 100 shares of the Xerox Corporation, which would eventually be $1 million. So dude gave up, just quit, because he didn't see it. And a lot does, and Dry Buzz and I were talking about that. A lot of people just give up and don't see it. And she was talking about the fact that people give up on like text messaging. They think, text messaging is nothing. But right now, people are using the text message to stay in contact with their customers quickly. Because she says she has something that's going on every Friday, and people are waiting for the text to know when they can go in and start shopping. I want a text from the people that I do business with. I want a text from the the manufacturers or the people I do something with, I need to know quickly because I'm going to use the email, but I probably will not scroll through an email looking for something unless you told me it was over there.
Right.
So anyway, that was one of the stories from Tech History. Welcome everybody. This is BizChicks TV, the place to be for tips, tools, and strategies to help you build a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And every Friday we talk tech and we talk social media, we talk media, anything that we can do or what we've learned to help you grow and do better in business. So thank you all for being here in the clubhouse. Those who are watching live on the replay, it's me and TJ holding it down today. TJ,
Hello.
Terry Johnson online from New York City.
Hello.
And I'm Francine Gregory. And hey, this is Tech Life Weekly. So TJ, I'm gonna let you have it because I didn't attend the Apple event.
I didn't either.
Because it was, you know why? I think it was it's kind of like that's out of order. That's not normal for them to have an event like right there.
Right. I mean,
So
I didn't pay attention to it while I was busy, and I heard some bits and pieces. The M1 chip for the MacBook Pro, and then a couple other things, but I didn't pay attention. So Apple just doing Apple.
right, and
That's
I was
what I
like,
said.
oh. And so also with the 13 Pro, anybody get the 13 Pro if you're an Apple user? Because somebody asked me, did you upgrade to the Pro 13 Pro? I'm like, no, my 12 Pro is doing just fine right now. I didn't see any reason to bump up unless I was making a movie.
Right. That's what I was thinking. I was like, if you were in creative or you do editing and stuff, it's always exciting when the MacBook Pro news comes out because a lot of people do things on the go. And I had a MacBook Pro, but I gave it up. I have the big iMac. I know it changed me to my desk, but I mean, it's big. It's got a big screen and it lets me do what I want. So I don't know. I don't know. I did not pay attention because I was like, Apple being Apple. It's close to Christmas. They're putting their products out. But my question is, because of supply chain issues and demands, will you get it for Christmas?
Oh, okay. Because see, that's the thing too. I went online to order some, and I'm thinking, okay, I get my Prime delivery, and I should have it in a couple of days.
No,
They said October 28th. I was like, excuse me.
yes,
What do you mean
there's an
October
issue.
28th?
I've ordered some stuff a couple weeks ago, and they like in the October. I was like, what? So that's why I'm like, I haven't been paying attention because the news has been saying if you're going to shop for Christmas, shop now. Because the supply chain, because the things are sitting on, they showed a picture, the items that you want are on ships in the bay. And over they show California, and I'm pretty sure over here in New Jersey, because stuff comes over to Jersey, there's container ships sitting out there with stuff. And they can't unload them because there's not enough trucks to pick it up to deliver it to you. So,
wait, so that's a real thing. Cause I need to upgrade because my phone is on its last leg, and I'm on the 10. So, and 10 was their worst phone because it was a glass phone and it overheat. It doesn't like me being outside. I have to be inside in the AC. And I'm just losing right now on my photos and my videos. And so I was going to upgrade, and I started getting a text. I don't know if it's spam or what, but I'm getting a text or something from AT&T, and I know it's time for me to upgrade, but I don't even want to go through the hassle. I'm like, just mail the phone to my house, like do like everybody else. Send the phone to my house. If I keep it, then charge me. But that's going to the store in the process. I'm never gonna get there.
So
I'm just never gonna get there.
Is AT&T your carrier?
AT&T is my carrier, but I'm like, the message just looked weird. It wasn't like I started walking the dog. It was. I don't know what it is.
And
I'm afraid to click the link.
okay, I wouldn't click the link. I just call them and say,
Mhm.
"Hey, I need to upgrade my phone," and let them. And you talk to the people on the phone and let
Right.
them upgrade you. They'll email it to you. You can even go to Apple and they will upgrade you and email you and get you hooked up with AT&T. I would call. I would not trust
Yeah,
the
don't
link
trust
right
a
now.
link. Yeah, don't trust a link coming from, because they can make it easily look like it's coming from AT&T or Apple or whoever.
Correct.
It's real
And
easy.
right, that's been a thing because somebody, I was like, this ain't T-Mobile.
You have to,
You
you get a
know,
link, you gotta first of all, do you want to click it? Because then it could put a virus from somewhere, especially on your computer. Then it's like, okay, I have to check the link to see the domain name, and is it coming from apple.com or whatever.com, because
right,
they'll make it seem like it's like from Apple or AT&T, and you have to double check those things, and people don't. So I
right.
do what Fran suggests. I would call them up myself, or email, or a email that that works, or go to the website and click support.
Right. I'd go to the website to order because they'll give you a new phone, and if you turn in your old phone, they got a great program, but I would go to the source and I would not click on any links that I got from anybody.
Right. I couldn't imagine them being their level of service is not that they would reach out to me, so I knew it wasn't them.
Mark Ward said I get fake text messages from AT&T every few weeks now. Not falling for it. Not today, friend.
See, and Mark's right. They expect us because you're busy, you're tired, you're overworked, you're this, you're that, you're frazzled, you're doing something. And then the scammers rely on that you're not going to double and triple check, because you're, like, oh, and you just do it. Like, get out, I got something to do. Just, and you tap on it, thinking it's from AT&T, or thinking it's from here or there. That's what they rely on. So it's
Right.
really easy for scammers to just set up automated things that ping you and send your message out and text you, and it's just real easy. And
Yeah,
it's
and then when
annoying.
they get on the phone and they don't even know why you called or why
They're like,
you're
why you call? What? We don't do that.
right. And yeah, so I get stuff for T-Mobile, I get stuff from
I go
different
to the
bank.
source. And when
I
I get a
always go to
message,
stores.
I go to the source.
And
Like, oh,
you get Amazon. Oh, we have a gift, something for you from
mm-hmm,
Amazon. I'm like, yeah,
mm-hmm.
right. Amazon is not
Yeah,
giving me no
okay.
gift today, so stop.
Yeah, we got
And you
$100. Do this. Yeah, okay. And it's
no.
easy. We're not blaming anybody. It's real easy, and technology makes it easy for the scammers. And we're in a world where we rely on technology a lot, and now scammers know that, and they rely on you not paying attention because you're tired or whatever. So
So here's the key. Don't be too tired to read the dialogue box, to read through some stuff. And if you're not sure, just delete it and go to the source like TJ said. Just
yeah,
don't
and
even.
yeah, because a real quick story on Instagram this week, one of the people that I follow, they were sending me all kind of I was like, what? Come to find out, she's been hacked, and she was like, oh, I'm so sorry, everybody. In the group chat, the group message, she was like, oh, I'm so sorry, everybody. I was like, that just happens. But that's
Right.
where we got to turn on 2FA, two-factor authentication, some kind of backup to where they can't get into your account. But we talk about that a lot.
And if you are aware of it, because apparently I was sending somebody stuff and somebody said, is this you? Because this don't sound like you. I'm like, nope, it is not me. And they reported it to Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And Instagram, I went in there to get ready to report it and try and get it handled. Well, the account never existed anymore because the people that were following me, they know your voice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, that
If you
is not
suddenly
me.
get a message about, oh, you want to buy this Bitcoin, when the person is not talking about Bitcoin, like, no, or NFTs or any of the hot stuff. It's just real easy for scammers, and it's just, you know, I'm just
Yeah.
real tired of it.
So what do we got in social media this week, TJ?
Oh, we got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of stuff. Okay, so this week is social media news. Let me see where do I want to start? Well, okay, I'll start with Google. Start with Google. We rarely talk about them. Google has launched Google for Creators platform to give you guidance on digital content strategies. Ooh. So they have something called Create Google for Creators, a resource. It's a website, and I did have it. Let me pull it up. Oh, forget how to share. Oh, there we go. Da-da. And I'm going to describe it. Don't worry, but I want you to see it. And is it there? Yeah. Okay. So this is it. Google for Creators. It says expand your web toolkit. Explore the products and tools from Google that can help you find success as a creator. So they've got all kind of things. They talk about the products. They have a search console insight that show you how, you know, your data when people are searching for your information. They've got stuff about web stories. Does everybody know what web stories are? It's just
Uh,
stories.
oh,
It's
go
just
ahead and tell us because you
okay.
know we just in
Yeah.
case we don't.
So web stories is just stories, and if you don't use Google, the app, you know, the G app on your phone, you won't ever see it. I use Google a lot on my phone. I actually pull up the app. I don't go to Safari or whatever. I use the Google app, and then it comes up, and then you search, you know, you get the search window, and you search for whatever you want. But if you scroll down, you'll see some stories, and you have to swipe left, and you see, and it's just stories. And you can see here, there's an example here. It's a story, is a story everywhere. If it's on Instagram or Snapchat, Google, Pinterest is, you know, Pinterest has their idea pins, which are stories. Everybody's doing stories. So you'll
Mm-hmm.
see it. It's just it's in I don't want to say what is that format? The 9:16 ratio is it's in portrait. That's what I was thinking. I couldn't think of portrait. It's in portrait mode, and it's just posts and information, graphics, however you want to do a story, just like you do a post on Facebook or Instagram, you can do it on Google. So they've got their web stories information here, because you can plug that in. If you have a WordPress website, you can plug in the stories. Now, why would you want to do that? Because remember, Google is SEO, and I just said when people are searching, and usually people search on Google, and then they get to see your content. So, you know, they're talking about own your content. So, web stories, websites, Google domains. If you didn't know, you can buy a domain through Google. Then it goes into all of this other, you know, this is showing their tools that they have for creators. So, it's all about the wording now. So
Mm.
everybody's trying to get stuff for creators, and a creator is you, not an influencer, a creator. That means you're creating content for that platform. So they have all of this information, and it is let me put the URL in the chat. So it's creators.google.com. I think if you type that in, it'll go, but I'm going to put it in the chat too. So you can have a link. There we
And
go.
you know why this is interesting?
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to get more exposure over here on Google than you would on any other platforms,
Right.
because your YouTubes are going to show up, your um, anything because Google is the number one search engine. So you're going to
Right.
get a lot more traction that we've been doing creations for Facebook and Instagram, TikTok and whatever, but
Mm-hmm.
Google is the big one.
Yeah, Google is the big one. And if you know, like Fran said, if you're not looking at Google and Google My Business, if you don't know about that, oh my goodness, please set that
Right.
up. Google My Business. And you want to know more, go to Google My Business. That's all you
Right.
gotta
And
type in.
set up your page.
Yes.
Just set up your Google business page because
Mhm.
because I get hits and stuff all the
Yes.
time. And I'm like, oh, okay,
Yes, because
because
Google
people are
will
looking
send you,
for you.
right. They'll send you emails saying this post, you post, because you can put posts. It's like posting on Facebook. You can make posts, you can put pictures, you can put video, you can put events. You can put all of that. And guess what? All of that is SEO, goes into Google.com. When somebody searches on Google, that information you have will come up. So Google My Business. All it is you're setting up your business. You're telling Google, this is my business. This is the address. This is the phone number, the NAP thing, name, address, phone number. Any other information you want people to know if they come across your business on Google. So you
Okay,
get to set that up.
so here's the thing. It replaces the yellow pages.
Yes.
This
Oh,
is
yeah.
your spot on the World Wide Web. This
Right.
is so people can find you. Because the reason why I'm saying that, somebody sent me a yellow pages to my house the other day. I was like, what is this? And why do I have it? It's very thin now, and it's a very small one, but it still came. And it had the nerve to have white pages. I was like, who put their information on the white pages? And then there are the people on the yellow pages. They paid, I'm sure they paid real good money to have their ad bolded in there. And somebody actually sold that to them, and they listened and bought it. I was like,
right. So, and they also, Google My Business has its own separate app, and I have it. And when I'll show it to, well, I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of,
just turn it to the left. Yeah, I can see that now. And it
so you can
tells
see,
you
yeah.
100. Yeah.
Yeah. So that 100, it says how many views you've had of searches. 100. I'm not sure of the time frame. Oh, past 28 days. So it says my search views are down 19%.
This is like the Business Suite app on Facebook.
Yes.
And I'm sure that it's probably a lot easier to use than the Facebook Business Suite app.
Right.
Because it's Google, and Google makes it a little more simple to get in and figure out some stuff.
So, and it even tells me, like, over the month, it says how many listings were from search, like where the results came from, and maps. Because, people can find you on the map, especially if you a brick and mortar and you, you're a, whatever you sell on the street, and you've got a physical location. When you put your stuff in Google My Business, and people go and they search and they tap on map to see where you are, because I want to go to you, because Google will tell you how to get there and all that other stuff. You'll be able to see that too. So, but there's a lot of tools in there, but I think people sleep on Google, especially Google My Business. So
right, and I think it's very key for your business if you're looking for the exposure, because I go there all the time. When I Google somebody's business, I'm like, okay, I need to talk to them. The phone number is right there and the website. Now,
right.
If you don't pay for, if you don't have the ads or whatever, that's fine. You can go in there and still find stuff. I mean, I found people, but there are times when I go in there, click their website, and their website goes nowhere.
Right.
Or,
and then here's the most important part. So thank you, Linda. Gotta be handmade. She says it's free. Yes, it's free. Google My Business is free.
yes,
It's
it
free.
is.
And it's an app you download on your phone, and you can quickly see on your phone, and you can also go to the desktop and you set up, I would recommend setting it up on your computer if you can. But there's
Right.
the app too. So
Right. And this is one of those things, like when you're getting your real estate all over the world on when we say all over the world on digital platforms, this one is key.
yes.
Go stake your flag on this one, because somebody will try and are you the owner of this? And you don't want nobody else telling your story, putting up your info. And Mark said, don't you be showing up at my apartment, y'all. I have a physical location. It's called my home. Now serving nobody, not in person. Okay. Mark is funny.
Oh, so I mean, I've been thinking about maybe talking about Google My Business. So this is another like nudge for me to okay, we're gonna talk about Google My Business because it's free and there's a lot of tools and it's all
Right,
And if you have a website and you have Google Analytics and all the other Google products, when you get a Gmail account, you get all that stuff. It all ties in together.
right,
Okay, so it's free, and then we want to look at Google because what happened to Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp a few weeks ago? Was it a week or two
mm,
ago? It went down and business
yeah,
owners
and
were
people
twiddling
were
their thumbs.
panicking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So no need to panic. Now Google can go down. I'm not saying it can't, but it has. But it's it's not much of a it's not that panicky feeling that people got from because they do their business on Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp. Which nothing wrong with that, but
That should
you
not be your only place
don't put your
to
eggs
show forth your business.
Don't put all your eggs in Facebook world basket. It's great to use, but have a backup plan. All right, so let's get back to this Google. Just real quick, it's so the website I just showed it says has various helpful pointers, tips from those already seeing success, as well as updates on Google products, and so it links to guides on content strategy, building an audience, monetization, and more. So there's tools for creators. And don't think, well, it's not for business. It's for you too, because if you're a business owner, you're a creator because you're creating content. That's
Right.
why they did that. All right, so let's see before I get to the big ones because there was a lot of. Oh yeah, let me mention this just real quick. That guy that's in the White House, he's having a social media platform called what was it called? I didn't even really True Social. He's coming up with a social media app or something next week, and he made a big announcement. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay, so we want to make sure we're not talking about President Biden, right?
Oh, the ex guy, the guy that the
Okay.
45 is what they call him, the Trump guy. That guy. He's got an app called True Social coming out. Made an announcement this week, so all his people can go over there. Goodbye.
And Lakeisha says here, I hear Facebook and all is changing. Social media is not going to be the same. I hear.
True. True. I mean, let's talk about that for a second. Just real for a second. Things are going to change, and I think I said that last week after Facebook went down and all of the stuff they're being dragged to the carpet and Congress, and now they want Zuckerberg to come, and now I hear this week they're bringing Google and all the other ones. So things will change because Facebook made another. I don't know if we want to call it a boo boo, but they always do this. I think Terlene and I mentioned this that it goes back to like 2011 or something where Facebook did some privacy thing because Zuckerberg doesn't care about your privacy. He said that he doesn't care. So he's not going to care. So this is the thing. He's going to have to change. Facebook is going to have to change. And they want to change the name to the metaverse. They're coming up with a new name because they want to go into the metaverse. This is smoke and mirrors because they're not fixing the original problem which they've had since like 2011. Way back. It probably goes back to 2009. They don't care to fix the privacy issues. Zuckerberg knows about it. That's what came out in this expose from the Wall Street Journal that he knew about it. And he was like, I don't care. Do what I wanted. I do the algorithm the way I want. Because they putting profits over people. But that's what a corporation does. But they're supposed to do it ethically and not hurt anybody. So that's the issue. So they're changing they're putting out this announcement that they're going to the metaverse. I mean, I had some notes about it. It's just they're not fixing the issue. So do you want to pay attention to their news of we're changing the name? It's still a rose is a rose. I put on my social media. I was like, it's still Facebook. They're still doing the same thing because of Zuckerberg. He's the CEO. He decides what gets done until they remove him or he's not the CEO. They're going to continue what they're doing, but they're going to subvert it now. And here's example number one. We're going to the metaverse. We're changing our names. Don't look at the privacy issue. We're doing this to keep you guys on the app because if you're on the app, then we can run ads and charge for the ads and make money. Go ahead.
So Lakeisha said it was changing to virtual reality. They're trying to bring the metaverse is where you're, instead of us sitting here, we would all be sitting in here talking together or something
Yeah,
of like.
I had the whole thing about the metaverse. Let me see. Where's
And then
there's so
Mark
much
said,
stuff.
let's put some lipstick on the pig.
That's what it is. Lipstick on the pig, a rose is a rose. The Wizard of Oz, don't look behind the curtain. All of that stuff applies here. So this metaverse that Zuckerberg is got the hots for, it's here's his quote: the metaverse touches a lot of the biggest themes that we're working on. Think about things like community and creators as one, or digital commerce as a second, or building out the next set of computing platforms like virtual and augmented reality to give people that sense of presence. I think all of these different initiatives that we have as Facebook today will basically ladder up together to contribute to helping build this metaverse universe. So he's the guy that wants to build this metaverse universe, and he wants to tell you, come on, it's going to be this great thing. Now, the metaverse comes from sci-fi author Neil Stevenson. He wrote a book called Snow Crash in 1992. So in this book, the metaverse refers to a digital space owned by a ruling corporation which dictates interaction within the virtual world.
It sounds like Ready Player One.
Yeah,
Remember
do
the
you want to
movie?
be in that? I don't.
Okay, and so you're not in reality. You have on glasses and you're living your, okay, you're living in a van. That in Ready Player One, the dude was living in a van, but he had his all of his Wi-Fi or his internet connection, but he's
Uh-huh.
living in a van with goggles on. He's living in the goggles in a
Yeah.
virtual world. It was, I was like,
And remember
okay.
that movie Wally? Did Disney put that out? I forgot
I
who put
think Disney put
Wally.
out Wally.
So remember it was the little robot thing that's going around, and the people in that movie were these big fat slobby people in diapers that didn't get out of a chair because they had goggles on. Come on.
And
Here's the thing: what we know about Zuckerberg for sure. Okay, one, he ain't ever talking to us.
Nope.
Two, Zuckerberg always goes to the tech junkyard. He's
Yep.
behind time. It's old. It's outdated. Back in the early days in the 90s, there was this world called Second Life. Remember Second Life?
I
You
remember.
created
Yeah.
a virtual representation. Well, part of that, even the Second Life, that was an offshoot of where the world of work was supposed to go. The world of work was supposed to be virtual, and the companies that were supposed to, I mean, like in real life, the companies that were supposed to lead the way were the companies that had employed technology very early on. The whole work from home thing. It was IBM, it was UPS, right? IBM, UPS, and a couple of other companies. I was in the room, and they were supposed to design what the world of work. These are the companies that were going to trust their employees to work from home or work from anywhere and be productive, and they would be able to track these employees and see whatever they were, doing and all this kind of stuff. And unfortunately, we live in America. And for the past 25 to 30 years, America has only had its eyes set on one thing, and that was reinstituting slavery with the world of prison. And while America focused on thinking that they could build prisons and put everybody in prison and have this labor structure that was going to compete in the world of work, everybody else around the world said, okay, we're going to go the technology route. America, y'all go the prison route. We're going to go the technology route. So America is hella behind time right now. This virtual world is never going to exist in America. You're never going to get people to put on, first of all, hell, I put on a pair of glasses, these goggles there. I couldn't see nothing. I got a stigma, okay? So that's like never going to work. It's just insane when you listen
Mm-hmm.
to what this guy does, and every year he gets on this stage, and you sit there and you listen at him talk. And I'm like, dude, that was so, everything that Facebook comes up with is so 20 years ago. And yet they can say it with so conviction as if they're going to be they're not at the forefront of any of this. The forefront is coming on. Facebook is playing catch up.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, the friendship model is a failed model. That's why you ain't never heard nobody going viral on Facebook. your friends ain't gonna let you go viral. They gonna happen. Then they try to get rid of the friendship model, and then he comes with the thing. Oh, we're gonna go with the groups, because we can get all this data out of the groups. So people believe they're in a safe space, and they're giving up all this information. That came around 2015 when privacy really went away. Like, what is privacy? Who knows? Take all my information. Give me 25% off. You can take it. I don't care. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And now we're here. And remember the other thing, when the big porn site shut down, when they shut it down, a lot of people thought they were having affairs with real people, were sending all this money and quote unquote gifts, and they found out they were dealing with just bots, and they had to shut that site down. And Zuckerberg ran to the junkyard and tried to get all that technology and bring that to Facebook. It would never happen. It's like every time he gets up on that stage, it's like he just starts talking ahead of something. Like, dude, we're traveling in time here, and he literally has no clue. He really has no clue. You know he has no clue when you go and watch him testify in front of Congress. And Congress doesn't come with the dumbest technology people ever. And it's like, dude, you can't even impress them. It's like, stop. I wish you just give up. I wish they go ahead and replace them, because yes, Facebook is too big to fail. It has all of our family information, our photos. It has so much over there. It cannot fail. And what he is saying now, it doesn't apply to us. I don't know who he wants to attract with it, but we're in America. I just think when I hear him say stuff, I'm like, he's gonna talk to Americans. The Americans are just not thinking. And not gonna be there. And I've been in this tech game for 30 years. We're not there. Americans, I'm not gonna see it in my lifetime what we can do with technology. It's not gonna happen in America in our lifetime. We're so far behind. It's insane.
So
I wish he stopped.
Anybody else? Anybody in the clubhouse, you are free to come on stage and voice your experience or your opinion, and just raise your hand and we'll be happy to bring you up. Go ahead, TJ.
Now, I was going to talk about what Yolanda said about AR virtual reality. She's right. We're not ready for that because no one wants to put those goggle things on. I bought a pair a few years ago. I was like, I don't want these things, because you have to wear these things. I said when they get it to where it's glasses like this or it's a contact lens, then yeah, people might want to do more of it. But whereas it stands right now, and I've had some people online that I followed that talked about, AR virtual reality is the new thing, and this was 5 years ago. I'm like, no, it's not, because you got to get people to wear these things in their face, and they're not going to do it. So we're not ready for that. This AR virtual reality thing, where it's integrated into our lives like Alexa or something, is way down the road. So she's right about that. So I don't know where he's going. Again, this metaverse thing is smoke and mirrors. So you don't pay attention to the Wall Street Journal expose, the Facebook person that is, what I forgot her name, the whistleblower. They trying to subvert from that.
Right. Lakeisha says VR gives her a headache. So yeah, the I put on the virtual glasses. I'm trying to see, okay, there's not a lot of software or anything else also to make you want to do something with it. The kids do it because they're playing video games, and then you got to watch that so that you're not tearing up the living room and stuff, because you have no sense of what's going on around you. So I don't know. I'm not sure that that's going to be a thing. Thoughts from the audience in Clubhouse or anybody else over here on Facebook? Any other thoughts?
And my thing is, I'm like, why are they putting it in the glasses? I don't want it that close to my face. Give me the opportunity to beam it on the wall. I remember going to the Google Goggles event, right? And they gave us, we all walked around the Google Goggles, and they had this little tiny screen or projection in the corner there, of your bad eye, right? And I was like, why do you want me to try to see that, as opposed to give me the ability to beam, turn the wall into images and video, any surface that I want to beam something to, and use it that way and make it interactive. Like I can beam to the wall, but I could also touch screen. You know, I don't have to have. See, it's like we're so behind here that we just don't have that. You know, I need everything to be touch screen. We don't even have full touch screen. Everything's not even like people are complaining about having to go in a fast food place and ring themselves up. Like, really?
And then they had the nerve to ask you for a tip. I was like, excuse me? I'm
Who
standing
asked
here.
for a tip?
Okay.
Ooh.
I went to a couple of stores. Shall I name names? I went
Yes.
to a couple of stores, Panera Bread. You go in, they have the kiosk there, and you punch in your order. Also, the Habit Burger. You go in there, you punch in your order, and then they said, okay, now pick up what is the coaster thing that flashes that tells you that your order is ready, and go wait for your order. And then they had the nerve to add, do you want to add a tip for the staff? Y'all didn't do nothing. Okay,
that reminds me of there's a place there where I live. They have bubble tea because my daughter likes bubble tea, and so we go there, and then the little screen, like, you know, she says, "Oh, make your selection," and it's about tip. I put 0. Why would I give you the tip? You're just, you know, at the register.
And I'm doing the work. Okay, anyway, Lakeisha, how are you doing?
I'm great. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, that is so funny. I almost forgot about what I was going to say, because I remember a couple of times going to some stores and it asked, you want to, pay a tip? And I'm like, for what? I'm doing all the work. I don't know why. I guess it's, because of the new technology that they're using, it automatically asks, for you to pay a tip. So they ask, they say, do you want to pay the tip? So because of the technology that they're using, it will automatically say that at the end of the transaction.
Right. And so when I went, remember I told this story about when we went to order 300 sandwiches from a corporate restaurant. I had to do everything online except for, because I called in, I couldn't get through on the phone. Everything was so automated, you could not talk to a human. Wow. And if you had a special order, how were you going to tell them you had a special order? Because it was just, I was like, okay, this is ridiculous that I had to go to the store locally and walk into one of them that actually spoke to me. I said,
and did you tell them why? Did you say, listen, I don't want to jump through the hoops that you got me jumping through online, and to get to a real human and talk to them is impossible? I would have mentioned that to let them know you can't. I wouldn't go through those hoops. I would go to the competitor that picked up the phone. Hello, may I take your order? Can I help you?
Right. Mark says it's to subsidize the employees' pay that their employer refuses to pay so that they can pay their rent with only 2 jobs instead of 3.
Wow.
Right.
And it shouldn't have to be that way. I was like, I don't mind tipping, but you get a tip for service. You don't get a tip because the word tip is to. The word
now, I'm gonna tell y'all, don't sleep on turning on the tip option, okay?
on your yes.
I'm telling you, you'd be surprised. People are like, I know we
I didn't hear that.
Yolanda, you're gonna have to say that again once.
And then also on also got a red bar. Can y'all hear me?
You might have to say that again because it went little squirrely.
Digital.
Jump back on my Wi-Fi was off. Okay, I'm going to come back in. All right, let me know on turning because people are tipping and I have it on our website. Okay, mind you, the person is shopping there, but it said, do you want to also support this business? When I'm checking people out at the farmer's market, in that last screen, it says tip, and I'm always amazed and surprised when I look at what people are tipping, and they and it's like I said, I'm amazed because you think for you being in business, the gratitude for you continuing and thriving through the, the pandemic and so forth. So that is what people are. That's the narrative that's out there now around tipping. Even if you have served yourself, the fact that everything was readily available and the convenience. You got to think about the convenience to provide you that kind of convenience. And some of us don't want to even deal with humans anymore. And I've been saying for the past 10 years that all of these restaurants need to go right now and find whoever it is they got working at the drive-thru. Because when you fire those people in the drive-thru, you're going to make 10 times more than what they're bringing in. Because they ain't bringing you no money. Because they don't let nobody complete their order. Okay? Just complete your order. I just drove up.
But see,
I'm like, stop. Right? The minute they fire those people and put a robot right there, let me talk to that robot and let that robot listen, you're going to realize that I was going to order twice than what they allowed us to order. It's horrible.
Right.
It's absolutely horrible. So I appreciate the convenience. And I tip more on the convenience factor than I do in having to deal with a human. I really do.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking about. The convenience, they're got to give me a reason to send you a tip. Oh, I love the way you did blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Then I will give you a tip. But if I'm doing all the work and you still got attitude, and I'm not
see, there's a difference. I'm glad Yolanda brought that up because it's a difference. Because when she's at the farmer, she's providing a service. First of all, you're handcrafting, so people know that there's an effort that goes into that versus a man-made. A machine-made soap that whatever. So yes, I would tip her for that because she's there and you're providing a service. I mean, when I'm talking about it, I mean like we go to Wendy's. And I don't even use the kiosk. I use the app, and I order on the app, and I walk in and I pick up my bag because it's ready. I don't even mess with all of that because I'm saying with fast food, I want it in and out. Like you said about the drive-through, you want a robot there in and out. You don't You want it
and if you got, I will. Yes, I agree with Dry Buzz about turning on on your Square app. If you use Square processor, or if you use, I'm not sure about the other ones, they will ask you, do you want to turn that on so people can leave you a tip, even if you're doing a service, maybe you have a consultation. Turn it on because I might give you a tip. Man, that was a great thing you did, and they might want to tip you out. So I agree with that. But I think people should get tips because the word tip means to ensure proper service is what tips means.
And see, even here when I'm ordering, like I'll order sushi or something, and we use the online feature, or like I said, I use the app. When the guy brings it, I tip him. But I'm not going to put it in where, when you place the order. I'm like, no, I put 0 because I'm going to tip the guy that brought it. Because I don't know if that doing it online gets to him or her.
In California, when you do tips, everybody shares the tip.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And maybe I don't want Susie over there. I want Bill to get the tip.
I like to give it to the delivery person. Because I'm like, here, and I'm like, and they're like, thank you, and so it's that I like that interaction. But I understand about turning it on.
That way, it's good to split it because that's how they decide whether or not they even take your order with the tip there. And unless the app that they're on is forcing them not to decline orders, so I would definitely split it. It's good to give them some cash because then because they have that, but they use that tip in deciding whether or not to even take the orders nowadays. So you definitely want to split your tip.
Yes. D Works has something she want to contribute. Go ahead, D.
Hey, yes, I definitely wanted to say something about tipping. I know for us as service providers at the zoo, and there's 2 artists and a line manager, I split the tips. So, and I found that people tip more with the app than they do with cash. And so, like, there's some days we'll have $4 in the tip jar, and I'll go to the app and we'll have about $50 from tips.
Right.
And another thing to watch out for that someone almost got me, we went to a restaurant to eat, and it said, it had, when you sign your credit card, it has a line there for you to put a tip. Check your receipt, because this particular restaurant had already added the gratuity into my bill. And then when I went to sign it, they still had a line to add even more gratuity. And I'm like, and they took 18% for, automatic gratuity.
Right.
So if I paid attention to my bill, then I would have been tipping them again. And they don't tell you that. So you have to make sure you also work bills on that as well.
Yeah.
Thank
you're
you.
right.
Yep.
You're right. You
Mark says, I would like to point out that if you enjoy my comments here and would like to see me more, my tip jar is open.
And see the thing I want to clarify, because I'm not against tipping. Even, it's just that if you're at say I'm using like Wendy's and fast food, I'm like, I'm paying for the meal. So when you go to McDonald's or whatever, you usually pay your meal and you get your bag and you sit down or you leave. But if you're doing specialty services like everybody here, yes, put up your, buy me a coffee or tip jar. Or there's lots of online features you can set up on your website to say, buy me a coffee, buy me a tea, buy me a this, tip jar, and whatever. Yes, put that up, because you might be giving out a specialty service, and then, they may, you may be giving out free information, and people say, well, I want to reward you. And you put that link even on your YouTube. I've seen people put it on the YouTube. They have it in the description if you want to buy me a coffee. Or Miss Eileen does it. Eileen Smith does it. She has a buy me a coffee tip link under all her YouTube videos. So yeah, you definitely want to do that, because you never know who wants to give you the blessing. I'll say like that.
Right. Who want to shake your hand with a little something in it.
Yeah.
So and that means you've got to turn it on in whatever. I know Square has that availability. Allow people to tip you. Turn the little button on. That's good. What else have you for us, TJ?
Okay, so we got off on tipping a little bit, but that's all good. No, it's good to talk about. All right, so let's look at Twitter. Twitter has announced they bought a chat app called, what's the name of it? Sphere. 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 They bought the chat app and they're going to use it to boost DMs and community features inside of Twitter. So they bought this Sphere, and I think they're going to take the technology of it, because the app it's already existed, so it's going to not exist anymore. I think they're going to fold it into Twitter. So this is from the VP of Engineering, said the move would speed up development for DMs, communities, and creators. So they're going to use that for, to beef up their messaging. And
I actually like Twitter's DM for that, because of the responses that you get. Like that whole situation with the 300 sandwiches. I went to the company and put something in their DM, and they responded back really, really quickly.
Right. So Twitter wants to beef up their DM. Like, Instagram has a really strong DM is direct message. They have a really strong direct message feature. So Twitter is beefing theirs up, because a lot of people don't really use it. So they're combining this with the Twitter Spaces. They got the monetization features. They have a tip jar. All of those things are tying in together. All right. I'll say also Twitter is rolling out the Spaces hosting duties. So they're saying you don't have to have a certain amount of followers to open up Spaces. So they're saying starting today, I believe this was this week, anyone on Android and iOS can host a space no matter how many people follow them.
And so Spaces is the one where, kind of like what we're doing here with Clubhouse.
Right. So Spaces is their live audio, social audio app. And when you use Twitter Spaces on mobile, not the desktop yet, you'll see purple circles when anybody you're following, or if you're following topics, because you can now follow topics on Twitter. You don't have to follow a person, but you can follow topics like gardening or jewelry or makeup, fashion, whatever. If someone in that topic starts a space, you'll be able to join it as a listener or a speaker. So now they've removed the restriction, so there shouldn't be any kind of restriction as far as you know being able to do a Twitter space. So I've seen a lot this week. I was wondering, I was like, what? Because I wouldn't see any, and now I'm like, I seen a bunch of Twitter spaces in the app because now it's open to everybody. It was a limitation that you had to have at least 600 followers, so they removed that because they
Okay,
want.
so is anybody here using Twitter in that way? Would you see using Twitter as a clubhouse space? Because Clubhouse is pretty straightforward. What is your opinion on that? Anybody can jump into that. Would you use Twitter as a place to talk with people? Because I think it moves too fast for me. The conversations move so fast. I don't know. Anybody?
Well, the ones I've been in, they pretty much run the same as Clubhouse. People are speaking and what have you. But does anybody in Clubhouse have?
Beverly, go ahead.
I signed up for one of those. I believe it was what you're talking about today with the purple thing, but I ended up deleting it because I rearranged everything on the Clubhouse, so I didn't keep the space. So I think they changed it and maybe rechanged it again because I had created something and ended up deleting it. But of course, because why not? Why not use any, if it's free, use it.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm thinking I have to be talking to people over there for them to like, oh, now she's talking to us, so let's see what she's got to say. It's the same thing. You got to have something to say that people are interested in. And would you come to my Twitter space?
Right. So you have to have something that you want to say, and then you have to either be connected to people or a topic in Twitter. And then again, you have to be a big user of Twitter. So if you're not a big user of it, then it's like, okay. But the people I follow on Twitter are like tech and marketing, stuff like that. So they've been using it. The ones that have had it all this time have been using it. So again, with Twitter, if you're not on there and you're not actively speaking to people, like putting messages, talking DMs, and the things we talked about, then Twitter Spaces you might not want to use. But then again, it's a new area. You may want to start a community there. You may find people that want to talk about the things that you talk about, but you got to have, like Fran says, you got to have a message that attracts them in the first place.
We have a comment here from Mark. He says, has anyone tried the Wisdom app yet? I know that Dr. Tachi has. I'm on there, but haven't figured out how to do it properly yet. For some reason, the dark mode on that particular app gives me my old tired eyes a problem. So I don't know about the Wisdom app. Has anybody?
Yeah, I do. Who do I follow? Mario Armstrong I follow on Instagram. I think last week he put up a post saying he was on. So I downloaded it, but I didn't go through with the sign up. But from what I see, it's people that get to speak on topics and things that they know. It's like a mentorship app. And I had the details. Let me see if I can find his post real quick.
Conversations that matter, be a top mentor. What is wisdom? What problem do you solve? Or how are you different from other apps?
Okay, let me see if I can find this post from Mario, because he was if Mario's on it, I'll check it out. I did download it. I didn't go through with the sign up. Oh, I don't see his post.
And I see it here. It says, anybody, if you're in the Clubhouse, it's joinwisdomapp.com if you're interested in checking it out to see if you would be interested. I'm like, oh, okay. Be a top mentor. How would you know how would they know if you're a top mentor? Okay.
But see, that's the thing. I didn't do any more investigation because I was like, oh, another app. I'll look at it again. And so when Mark just mentioned, I was like, yeah, I downloaded it, and I didn't. So is Wisdom gives people expert help when they need it? Let me see. There's a website.
It says joinwisdomapp.com. And then it says easy as 1, 2, 3 to become a top mentor. If you have more than 1,000 plus followers on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, or Clubhouse, all you have to do is apply. To apply is one of two things. One, add a link to your wisdom profile to your bio, or two, host one 20-minute talk every 1 or 2 weeks and share it out on your socials. So you got to have 1,000 people following
Right.
you
See, you
on
have
Instagram.
to, because it's a mentorship app. You have to have a community already.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
And
Go ahead.
okay, we will review your talks, your profile, and render a quick decision. There is no preset formula at this time. If you have fewer than 1,000 followers on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, or Clubhouse, then you can still submit this form and we will still review the quality of the talks, taking into account the number of listening minutes you engage the wisdom audience. The following you have on wisdom and on other socials, and how you promote your wisdom talks on your other socials. So there's a standard that you have to hit. You just can't jump on and just be over there.
Okay. I found a video on YouTube. I'm gonna play it real. I think it's a little short video on
Okay.
What they have on the website. And let me, is it there? Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna play it. This is music.
Oh, so they're not talking to you. Listen,
No.
they just giving you chat with experts on everything from parenting, fitness, dating, startups, food. Wisdom is built on knowledge and experience. Be early to the wisest community. Okay, that was
Okay,
real quick.
so yeah. All
That
right.
was
I
quick. It
thought it
went
was a little,
fast.
yeah, I thought that was like a somebody explaining it.
Right.
So that's it. What was it, wisdom app?
Yeah, joinwisdomapp.com, and it says ask me anything for the next 20 minutes at joinwisdom.audio. So they want you to put these posts up with this to get people to come over there. So it's another social audio platform.
Yeah, like I said, it was another one. I heard about it. I installed. I was like, oh, I'll go back and look at it.
And Mark, thank you for bringing it to our attention.
Yeah.
Because I'll look at it too and see if it'll work for us.
Yeah.
Hey, Carlos. Good morning.
Hey, Carlos. All right, so back to we forgot. Let's go back to the social media news for this week. So that was Twitter. So that Spaces, and then they bought the new app. TikTok. TikTok launches its inaugural Discover list, and they're going to highlight top influencers in the app. So they have a Discover list which highlights 50 of the most influential creators on TikTok from various communities, and essentially provides a showcase of some of the top voices and trendsetters on the platform. So Twitter explains it like this: creators are the heart and soul of TikTok, from the pioneers driving change to the tastemakers whipping up one-of-a-kind creations in the kitchen to the trendsetters or originating cultural moments. We're honored that such an incredible group of creators has found a home on TikTok. That's why we created the Discover list, our first ever list of highlighting TikTok stars who are changing the game in their respective lanes and beyond. So it's a little website that you have to go to, and it is what is the URL? Trying to
I
get it
think
to come up.
hopefully Dryer Buzz is on there because she's been really, really active on TikTok, and I would call her an influencer over there. And she's
Definitely.
one of our very own biz chicks. So I'm saying, she should be on that list.
Okay, so I've got the link for that. Let me bring it up for you. We will explain for Clubhouse. Don't worry.
And then Mark says, I'm one of the 50 most influential creators in my own mind, changing the game in my apartment.
So here they have it's called the Discover list. It's a website, tiktok.com/creator-discover list. I'll put that link in the chat. And so it just says creators to watch just for you, and what I just read is on the website. So they have change makers, icons, innovators, foodies, originators. And then when you hover over each of these little categories, it says view, and I'm assuming it goes to like a profile of each one. under
Mm-hmm.
that category, so you can check them out. I'm pretty sure. Here's one. This is the girl that she made the renegade dance. I remember this story that she made a dance, and then some other more popular TikToker took credit for it. So yeah, so you can get you want to know more about TikTokers and what they're doing, influencers. I'm gonna put this in the chat there. All right, so that's it.
Oh, that's pretty
TikTok.
good right there.
uh,
TikTok,
uh,
yeah, TikTok has come a long way from,
It has.
uh, yeah, I can't even remember what it used to be called. Dance
It was
something,
musically, and
musically.
then
Yes,
TikTok. So it's all about influencers and creators and people doing things over there. And again, we said TikTok, don't sleep on it, because your thing is there, your category, your topic, the thing that the message you have to share. People on TikTok doing it, and they're not dancing.
yeah. Is
They're
old man
not
Steve?
dancing.
Isn't old man Steve on TikTok?
Old man Steve, I use him a lot. Old man Steve is an old man named Steve. And
And
guess
he
what?
does old man stuff on
He's got
TikTok.
like
You
a
know it,
million, 2 million followers. And
right?
all he does is the one of the videos was him cooking an egg, and then he was talking about making coffee, and there you have it. I don't know how
I'm
else to explain it to you.
Go ahead.
You can go over. I can tell you, you can go over to TikTok with what you want to do, but the audience will tell you what they want. TikTok will tell you what they want, and when you realize that's when you get your views, that's when you get your followers. Like, say for instance, I went over there. I have a kitchen channel, and then I have a soap channel. And even on the soap channel, I started putting some other stuff, and they were like, those views dropped. So they really wanted me in the soap making lane, and I submitted to it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go and do this because that's who they're gonna show my videos to. People who really want to learn, because people want to learn something, right? So they have clearly decided that I am a channel that for which people can learn because of the amount of time that I spent on there in the making process. And I noticed when I put that hashtag on it, when I take that hashtag off, it's like, nope, that's what we want from you. That's what this is for. And it's interesting to watch. If you want to do different stuff, you're going to have to have different pages because your channel has to be something singularly. You have to do that one thing, and unless it's just you looking, us looking in at your life and your livelihood or whatever. But it's got to be the one thing, and there is a delivery method for which that platform wants. And I know I go live on. I started going live on both TikTok and then I'll choose another platform. The camera over there, I'm using an old phone when I run my shop cam, and just the dynamics of what that camera is doing to you physically and the image that it is delivering out about you, of you. It's crazy technology, and you look at the other platforms like, oh, I don't want to go on those platforms. I like where I look over here. But you have to give TikTok what it wants. You have to give the audience what it wants, or else you're gonna be sitting there spinning your wheels and not getting any kind of traction. But when you get that traction, what you get traction on, you have to come back with it again and again and again. The same stuff
Mm-hmm.
over and over and over and over and over and over again. The delivery method, the same way. You cannot, and it's funny because it's like cloning. You know what I'm saying? They're definitely trying to clone, you got this camera in your soap room, you got to come in and make soap. I don't care what you want to talk about. You better be in the process. I can't go in there. And the thing about it is, you get so addicted to it. Like, I can't go in there and work just in the quiet, just me anymore. I got to turn that thing on and put out that content. And I'm like, wait, am I on? Am I live because I want to be live, or am I holding program now? It's the thing, y'all. It's scary. It is literally scary. Because I've always been one to rebuke the system, but not when it comes to TikTok. He submitted. If they were to come and attach me to something and say I had to do X amount of hours, I would be in there right now. And I'm late. I'm looking at the clock like it's 12. I probably should be live, but it's Friday, and I try to keep my Wednesdays and my Fridays to myself. But TikTok is a beast. I'm not gonna lie, it is a beast. And Zuckerberg, he wants it so bad. He wants you over there on Facebook doing what you're doing on TikTok, but yet he don't want to give you the freedom.
No.
Like you can go on TikTok and anybody, like what Facebook would say, we want anybody in the world. But no, that's not what happens. But you go on TikTok, you never know who's seeing you, who's watching, and the contact and the sales, it's real. It's so real over there. You know?
I agree.
I've been on every iteration of every platform out here, and there is done. The only thing that I like better than TikTok was Pal Talk back in the day.
What was what?
What was what?
What was
Pal Talk?
Pal
Talk, and it's still around.
Oh,
Pal
Talk. Pal Talk.
The only thing that killed Pal Talk is they did not come with the mobile version fast enough, and that's why it's not a household name. But back in the day, you couldn't live without Pal Talk. If you wanted to be in the virtual world or on the internet, in that community that was on the internet during that time, you were on Pal Talk. And you paid to be on the premium version of it because it was just that good. It really connected the diaspora, and you could find your tribe, your voices, and this was pure enjoyment, for those of us that were online during that time. And there has not been a rival platform. Facebook is not one. It's not one at all. TikTok is.
Hey.
You can find what you want, You can't, the discovery, you can't even go to Facebook and discover what you want. You go on Facebook and try to search. It's still, like, even the search parameters on Facebook even completely open. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, it's crazy. It's like, what, I really want to know, what does Zuckerberg and Stanberg, who's pledged to sit by his side, throughout this thing, she was at Cameron Hall after, like, do you ever plan to go out and start your own or do this and that? No, she's gonna be by this man's side. And like, so what do they want? I literally have no idea what they want at this point. What do they want from those users over there?
Oh, they want us to buy ads. Okay, shut up, Fred. Okay.
All right.
I just looked at Pal Talk. I was like, okay, this is like Blab. Seriously.
That's an insult. I'm gonna tell you why that's an insult.
No, I mean
I literally asked the founders of Blab when they developed, when they hit the seed. I asked them, "Hey, are you trying to follow the lane of Pal Talk?" And they were like, "What?" I was like, "Oh, they're gonna die. You cannot come out here and not know the history."
Right, because the only
Blab.
Yeah, because
Blab was Pal Talk.
Right, because I'm looking at this, I was like, we was doing this on Blab.
But Blab,
the group chat.
Having no knowledge, zero knowledge of Pal Talk is what killed them, because you got to know who came first. You got to know who opened the door for you and the community that you're going to serve.
Right.
And Blab, they lost because they weren't able to serve that community with the demand, because Pal Talk at that time was struggling to go mobile, and then Blab came and it was mobile. It's like all these platforms now, right?
Right.
And that was a real struggle for Pal Talk because of the technology they were using. They just never got a good mobile footing.
Okay, and so this week in tech history, this was the initial release date of Pal Talk was June 1998.
And I was right there.
Look.
1998 was the best. 1998, 99, going all the way up to 2K, was the best time, because in fact, we were on Black Planet and AOL, then Black Planet, and the other versions of it, chat rooms, right? Chat rooms were hot then. Pal Talk came and provided audio and video in the chat rooms. All right. When Twitter came in 2008, we didn't leave Pal Talk to 2008. So they had us for a full decade.
Wow.
They had, if you were online in that time, you were on Pal Talk for a full decade. Now you think about raising kids. Like my best friend in the world, we were on Black Planet and Pal Talk. We only met once, right? But being that we had that video connection, that audio connection, chat room, the best interview, my most viral interview right now, which I have audio of it on YouTube, happened on Pal Talk and it was with Bumpy Johnson's widow, God rest her soul, she passed on. But I ended up, because I had a podcast and I could use Pal Talk as the green room per se, and the listening room, very much like Pal Talk was kind of like what we got here on Clubhouse, except instead of just having your avatar, you could turn your video on. See, and Clubhouse not recognizing it is also Pal Talk. The Pal Talk was the first audio, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you, instead of having, if you were on the premium side, we paid dearly to have the premium products on Pal Talk. So instead of just having a photo, you would then be able to watch me live, right? And there were, you could get the fast video or just a couple of like gift like stuff, right? So I had a podcast. I said, well, I got a chance. I scored the interview with her. And I said, hey, I've got a chat room with, before and after the podcast, we can hang out in the chat room. She spent the entire day with, we're talking about Bumpy Johnson's widow. She was upset at Frank Lucas. And I made history with this because she said so much stuff about Frank Lucas. And they asked him about the interview. And he said, and this is when the Gangster Code came out, and they want to know if he was upset with me, and he was upset with her. And he was like, I can't say nothing about them women. He's like, do you know who she is? So I ended up with all kind of like gangster rights, after that interview. And it's mentioned in the history book, and that ended up being one of, I think she did another one. She did an event after, but that's her final interview. And the young lady that's playing her in the series today actually used that interview to pick up on who her character was,
Wow.
So that's how you have to leverage these platforms. And I submitted, the press release came out that she wanted to do, and I'm like, well, hey, I've got a podcast, I've got Pal Talk, I'm going to pitch, and I got it. And they were like, yeah, she wants to come on and hang out with you in the chat room. And at that time, before her, it was like the only person that understood me having a publication online and a podcast was Muhammad Ali. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on. Everybody else is like, what is that? What is that? What's a podcast? What's the internet? It's like, it's crazy. And I'm bitter about it because, look where we could have been. And now that interview is on YouTube. It gets daily views and daily comments. And now the series has come out. It's getting more of that. I lost my headpiece. She was upset that they continue to make movies about her husband without even consulting her. So she didn't get any consulting. And so she got with a writer and put out a biography on her husband, who was, the notorious in Harlem and all that history, But people don't realize that they were so everybody that had to do with Harlem in that time is blacklisted out here. We're talking Ruby Dee and Ozzie Davis, who were big supporters of Bumpy Johnson and Malcolm X and all that Renaissance. It was out there. The only people to tell those stories were people who had online publications, It's like, even though we had Black Press was afraid to touch a lot of this because they would lose a little bit of advertising dollars that they did have. But lo and behold, having Pal Talk, having and we did on Blog Talk Radio. We ran the interview on Blog Talk Radio. We had the chat room open. They were playing the audio in the chat room, just like we would do here on Clubhouse. And this was in I think I did that maybe I had to be around 2K or something like that. I don't know. It's crazy. But that was the 90s when Pal Talk came. And so when Black came out, I asked the guys that created Black if they were even aware. They modeled it after Pal Talk. And they were like, what? Who? I'm like, oh, they're not going to be around because it was bought. It still is. It was the best ever. So take them out. Just tech history.
Oh, thank you for that. And BizChicks just signed up for a Pal Talk account. I'll have to check that out and do some stuff because it is still working. TJ, you can continue.
Okay, I got some banging going on, so.
Oh, I couldn't hear that, but go ahead.
All right, so Pinterest. There's a lot of news with Pinterest. PayPal wants to buy Pinterest, $39 billion.
No, don't do it. PayPal will mess up Pinterest. Okay.
See why they want to do it is the question. It's because of social shopping. Pinterest is a place people go to look for things and they buy. There's no there's a shorter line between looking for stuff and buying. So PayPal wants to get in on social. So what better way than to buy something that's already there? Um so also this is going to help PayPal challenge not Spotify, Shopify. So Shopify, is like the platform of social shopping, the engine people that use that. So that is why PayPal is looking to buy Pinterest. And on the back of that, Pinterest has announced some new features. They had a creator festival this week. So they announced that they are having a new TikTok like watch feed. And they're also having a new takes feed. Now, all of this has to do with their idea pins. Idea pins are their video section, their stories. It was called story pins and changed into idea pins. That's where you can go over and you can repurpose your TikTok or your reels and put them on Pinterest, or you can create your own TikTok like videos over there. So it's under they're gonna have a watch tab. So they're changing the view when you go in, so it'll scroll like TikTok instead of, remember everything used to go left and right. Like Snapchat was the swipe left, swipe right. So now everything's swipe up, following TikTok. Okay, so they're gonna have a browse and watch display, with the browse mode being the traditional Pinterest search feed, and the watch mode switching to a TikTok like style presentation of the videos. And both videos and still image pins will be in the vertical scrolling stream. Okay. So remember, idea pins are their stories format. And then within that, they're putting the take feature. So Pinterest says a take is an idea pin that is created in response to another idea pin. Takes appear as responses to the original idea pin, and then can also be seen in your home feed from people you follow on your profile. All right. And they're also adding an AR. Here we go with augmented reality, an AR try on tool with idea pins. So this is another way to trigger product engagement and also shopping. So think of it like you want to try on a lipstick color from, you're following somebody on there that has selling makeup. So you'll be able to take a picture of your face and you'll see the lip style. If you know Warby Parker, the eyeglass frame, when you use the app, they take a picture of your face and you try on virtually or AR the frames, and you can see which ones you like. So they're doing this with makeup. And that's one of the examples that they gave, was trying on lipstick and seeing how it looks on. So it was a try on with lens, and it's the AR try on tool. All right. So also, Pinterest is creating a creator reward program, which will enable creators to participate in challenges or earn cash from Pinterest. Think about the Snapchat. Remember Snapchat they were giving away $1 million a day challenge. So now Pinterest has their own creator challenge. So it'll be challenges like creating idea pins that generate at least 5 takes, which creators can participate in to get a share of the cash reward. Now, they're not giving away $1 million a day. I believe the total that they're giving away was 200K. I think I had the number down here. I can't find it. But they're not giving away millions of dollars, because I guess they learned from Snapchat. And this will go on between October 2001 and March 2022 in the US, Canada, UK, Australia, Germany, and France. Okay, so they're doing some things. Let's look at what Pinterest is doing. So, PayPal wants to buy them. They're adding more features. So we'll watch them. Now, Instagram has added some new features also. Let's get into that. They're adding desktop posting. Finally, everybody's happy about that. They're adding collabs, a new creator-focused feature that allows users to collaborate with each other on feed posts and reels through joint ownership. So this will display joint posts to the audience of both co-authors and collect comment threads, views, and like counts under a unified account. Not account, but a unified. You'll be able to share it. A simple tag on the post will give the approval of the collaborator invited to share the ownership of the content. So it's two people co-author posts and reels. So you invite someone else from the tagging screen to get them involved. Followers for both users will see the post and it'll share views, likes, and comments. Another new feature from Instagram is they're adding a way to add nonprofit fundraiser to a post. So what you do is you hit the plus button on the top right, and then you go after post, stories, reels, or lives. Those are options. There'll be a new option to select a nonprofit and add the fundraiser to a feed post. So you can create a post that's going to help out the nonprofit. And also, so here's the ability to post photos and videos shorter than 1 minute from desktop web browsers. So this is they were testing this in June, so they're rolling it out. So you'll be able to do that. And remember, short videos under 1 minute from your browser. And one more thing from Instagram, they launched a new music focused feature for posting reels. It's called Super Beat. It's an effect that adds effects to the video to the beat of a song. Also, they will offer a 3D option for displaying music lyrics. So those are the two new things they're adding to reels. And that's Instagram. Facebook, we already talked about. They're revealing a new name next week because of this metaverse thing that Zuckerberg wants to do. So everybody was making jokes online about what the new name was going to be. One of them was Fakebook. That was one of the options. Call it Fakebook. So they're coming out with a new name. They announced it. It's coming out next week, and we have to all wait until they decide this new name that fits into their metaverse. What they want to do. So also, Facebook is announcing new tools for small businesses. They have video. Oh, here we go. They're also expanding live audio rooms for selected small businesses. And here's what Facebook is saying. With live audio rooms on Facebook, small businesses can host live conversations on topics relevant to their customers, and people can discover them across Facebook. Small businesses can invite friends, followers, creators, or any listeners in the room to be a speaker. Okay? So this is their audio, live audio tool that they're put out in competition with Clubhouse. And let's see, is that it? Yeah, one more thing. WhatsApp is letting people shop for items by category, adding something called collections within WhatsApp. So you can put your items into collections instead of having your items that you're selling in WhatsApp all in one feed. So they're adding something called catalogs, and it's going to be under collection. So they're saying businesses can organize items in the catalog by category, so customers no longer have to scroll through long lists of items to find what they're looking for. So there'll be categories instead of a long list. So it's there to make make it easy for people to buy if you have WhatsApp for business. Okay, and that is it for the updates. Was anybody have a comment about any of those, or we all commented out?
Clubhouse. Hey, Mark, Caroline, D Works, Lakeisha. Who is this down here? Freya. Anybody? Well, sounds like we've covered everything for this week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you for tuning in live. Dr. Tachi and Terry will be back next week, and Monday we will be doing our coffee, tea, thoughts, and conversations here. And oh, wait, we have Freya. Freya wanted to say something. Freya, let's go ahead, Freya. Let me see if she gets.
Yes, I just want to say I found this room like last week, and I have been so schooled every time I came. So I just really wanted to come up and say y'all are doing a great job. I'm a tech junkie, but I'm still so amazed at the knowledge that you all drop every day, and just the behind the scenes I think I came in on something about the behind the scenes analytics or something like that last week. So just kudos to y'all, and I'm just downloading everything I can and finding everything I can so I can also just continue to provide more for my clients. So just keep up the great work.
Thank you so much, Freya. Appreciate
you.
your feedback. All right, so we'll be back here on Monday. We're going to be talking coffee, tea, thoughts, and conversations. I believe we're going to have a guest with us all the way from London. We are working on that to give us a little, we're trying to get back to having guests on Mondays like we used to do prior pandemic. So we're going to be doing that Tuesday. TJ will be here. She's going to be sharing with us on digital marketing and social media strategies. Look, she put out a lot today, but then she's going to help you with the how-tos for your business or your organization. Wednesday, we'll be talking money with Coach Karen, all the way from Toronto, Canada. Thursday, we'll be doing Happy Healthy Habits with Robin Shimizu and her guests. And then we'll be back here again on Friday talking tech on Tech Life Weekly. TJ, anything else you'd like to?
No, just, thank everybody for being online and in the clubhouse and being with us. And, Biz Chicks is a Monday through Friday operation. We here at the same time. And see, that's one of the keys of, you want to have your strategy for having your business online. One of the major keys is consistency. Be in that spot. Everything doesn't have to be every day like this. You could just once a week or whatever, make sure it's the same day and the same time so people know to look for you. And don't worry if they're not consistently with you every time you go live or podcast or whatever you're doing online. Just keep doing it, because people will come in and out. It's like waves on the ocean. They're on the beach. They'll just come in and out. So you be there consistently. So
be there, be open. And if you'd like to join Biz Chicks, we'd love to have you join with us. You can text Biz to 33777 to join the community, because we want to hear from everybody. And we got biz dudes too, so it's not just all women. We got dudes that are in here. We got Carlos, and we have Mark Ward and Alfredo and some other people who contribute. We just want to say thank you. And we love to have you a part of the Biz Chicks community. There is no charge to be a part of the community, but we want to help you get exposure for what it is that you do. And we want to help you take the hassle out of your hustle to build a profitable business that's fun to run. And with that, we want to say, make sure you go to the front of your own line, and we will see you next week.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.